Okay, welcome back everyone into this channel. Okay, so today we are going to talk about working with the Excels. Okay, suppose we have a requirement in a Java application that we have to get whatever the customer, for example, we have a ABC customer or XYZ customer is sending a XML or sorry, not a XML, sending a Excel file over the email, or we can say that any user is just importing the Excel file from the UI. Okay, there is a UI, we have given the options that you can upload Excel kind of things from this UI, and he or she is uploading the Excel file from that UI. What is the requirement? You have to get the values from that Excel file, and you have to convert into the object oriented way, and from that objects you have to store those Excel values into the database, so that wherever you want those values, you can retrieve the values from the database and you can display or utilize them on UI. Okay, so this is the requirement, and there may be a chance that in your real life you will get this requirement at any point of time, okay, according to the customer requirement. So in this case, how we can design the solution for this, or what are the things that we can think about to use as a technical architect, what are the things we need to take a decision. Okay, first, if you are using a Spring Boot as a if you are a Java developer, that if you are using a Spring Boot, then what you need to do, you have to just add the dependencies. Two dependencies you have to add. One is a POI dependency and another one is a POI OOXML. Why this POI OOXML? Because that if you want to deal with the new Excel file formats, which is a .xlsx, if you want to allow the user to import or get the values, get upload this kind of Excel files, new format Excel files, then you have to also add this dependency as well, so that it will be deal with those files as well. Okay, now let's move forward. What are the things that different here? What we will do here, after this adding this dependencies, you have to create a workbook. So in order to deal with the old format Excel file and the new format Excel file, what do you need to do? You have to create a workbook. Workbook is nothing but your Excel file. Okay, you have to create the workbook by following the approach by using the work factory dot create and give your Excel file path. It will give you the workbook. Okay, what is the advantage of this? By doing this, by creating this approach, it will deal with the old Excel format file and the new Excel format file as well. Okay, now again what you need to do, again you have to get the sheet from that particular workbook, and you over their sheet you have to iterate through the row and iterate through the cell. Once you have reached to the cell, you have to take the values from this cell. Okay, there are multiple ways that by using that we can get the values from the cell. If you will use the cell dot get numeric values, by default it will return as a double value. Okay, and suppose that if you have a numeric value like 1 in particular cell, it will return the 1.0. Okay, it will return the 1.0. That's important. So that if you suppose that in your object there might be a chance that there will be a value as an integer, then double to integer will be not possible. If you convert your double value as a string, then it will be converted into a string as a 1.0, and if you are trying to pass that string into the integer by using the integer dot parse int, by default it will try to parse 1.0 as a string into the integer. You will get the number format exception. Okay, so what you need to do, because there may be a chance of number format exception in your application, so there is a solution. Apache POI is providing the one class which is a data formatter, which will help you to get the value according to their behavior. Suppose there is a 1, you have value in the cell is a 1, for example 1, it will not it will not give you the value as a 1.0. It will give you the 1 value, because if you use a data formatter, sorry, it's a data formatter. If you use that, it will give you the exact value, okay, as a string. After that, you can convert that string into the integer, double, or string, whatever you want to according to your requirement. Okay, how you have to use a data formatter? You have to create the data formatter object, and then after that you have to use a data formatter dot format cell value. There is a format cell value method, and you have to pass your cell. It will just return the string version of that cell value, whatever the type it is. Okay, it will just give the exact value by applying the string version on it will give you the string value. After that you can easily convert them into or pass into the according to your requirement. Okay, so that's it. These are the things that you need to aware whenever you want to read from the excel file. And once you have get these values, you can easily you can easily put them into the object type. Okay, and you can add them into the list by iterating over there, and you can just store these type of values into your database. Okay, there is a one more case that if you have a excel file, and in that excel file if you have header, okay, like id, name, and the profit, whenever you are iterating through these rows, if you want to skip this first row, because this first row is not our value, not our business value, how we can skip this first row? What you need to do, you have to just first get the sheet, for example 0th index sheet, and from that sheet you have to iterate the for loop, and you have to start from the row index. From, for example, you have to start from the index 1, not from 0. You have to iterate to the last row number. Okay, so by doing that you can just skip the first row. Now you are dealing with the first, you have just skipped the 0th row. Now you are starting from the first row and last row number. You will just deal with the along with these values. Okay, so that's how we can deal with the if you want to skip the first row kind of things. Okay, I think I have covered lots of things. Let me check if there is a remaining anything or not. I think we have covered all the corner cases and all the cases. Yeah, that's it. That's it that I want to deliver with you friends about Excel files and the Apache POI kind of things if you want to read. And let's extend this understandability with the different kind of requirement. For suppose that you have a requirement that you need to get the values from the database. There is a requirement like that anyone want to download the table data into the Excel format. It could be the requirement. What you have to do, it means that you have to convert now your object oriented style objects data into the Excel files. Okay, it means that you have to get your list of, for example, the employees, and you have to iterate over there, and you have to add those values into the Excel files. So there is a simple, there is a Excel, that Apache POI API is a very useful for this. You have to create the Excel file, and you have to set the headers. You have to iterate over the rows and cells, and you can also set the values on into that cell by getting from your object. There are useful methods. By leveraging those methods, you can easily write your object oriented data into your Excel files. Okay, you have to just look into the documentation of Apache POI. It will be a very useful. Once we understood the basic, it will be very easy to grasp all those things and in order to get your job done. Yeah, that's it for today. We will see you in the next video.